Welcome to the Shirley Lewis fan page. I'm Paul Hawkins, and to celebrate our 1 year anniversary, I am joined by the multi-talented, the beautiful, the amazing lady herself, Shirley Lewis.
Oh, how about that for an introduction? I have to say, you and Matt, who I do the Spinning the Wheel podcast with, are my biggest fans.
I think we
I
are.
love you guys. I love you guys. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for doing this page. It's really, it's actually really nice. I've enjoyed the interaction that you have with, the fans and stuff. And I think people think that it's me, though. That's the other thing. So hopefully we can clear that up today. That Paul here
That's
is the
me.
person you
Yeah.
speak to. Yeah, because they think it's me. But I thought that's kind of weird as well. Like, why would I have my own fan
Why would
page?
you
That's a
produce
bit.
your own fan page?
I know
Well, I
it's a
think
bit.
over the last 6 months, people now, obviously, I've been when we've been doing different things. I've been more in the videos and different things. I think people slowly are getting there.
All right, okay. And
Slowly.
look at that T-shirt you're wearing. I'm loving that.
Yeah. So
I actually want one of those T-shirts.
I'll get you one ordered.
All right, thank you. Thank
So
you.
there is no better place to start off, and we'll start on Toxic.
Exactly,
First of
exactly.
all, congratulations on how it's going. From
Yeah,
last night, it's over 35,000 streams on Spotify
yeah.
alone.
That's
And it's only
crazy.
been 4 weeks since it got released on all the streaming
Mm,
platforms.
mm.
Toxic was your first solo single for a while. So how did that all come about?
Well, I'm assuming people know that I did a single with my sisters. Was last year. I think it came out last year in
Last
January.
January, yeah.
It was a charity single. We did Year of Decision, and the producer is Brian Power, who is a great producer and a really good friend. He's also a DJ on My Soul Radio. If anyone listens to My Soul, you should listen to Brian because he's brilliant. Um, he's a really great friend of mine, and he did the track for us for the sisters because we wanted to do a charity single for our brother-in-law who's very sick, so that was the
Yeah.
reason for doing that. So Brian was brilliant, and we just get on really really well. And he said, oh listen, do you want to come in, and I've got some backing tracks, and do you want to come in and write melodies, whatever. I've had this conversation with you before. I don't actually call myself a songwriter.
I know.
Um, or if I do,
We sort of disagree on that bit.
I'm a very basic songwriter. I just, my sister Linda was an incredible writer, and Dee as well is an incredible writer. So I don't see myself in that class. But however, we went in and he had this track, and he was like, "Oh, just see what you can come up with." And not necessarily for me. We weren't even really thinking about that. It was just going to kind of be like a demo.
Yeah.
And so he may use it for other artists or whatever. Anyway, so we wrote this track together, and it was great. It came at Grumpy. Just I put the vocals down. It was just like one take. We did it, and I was
All in
like,
one,
"Okay,
yeah.
guys, bye, see ya." Left, and then a few months later, Brian said, "Do you know what? I think I want this to be a Shirley Lewis record." And I was like, "Oh my god! Like I haven't had anything out for so long," and I was like, "Oh, can it be like Brian Power featuring Shirley Lewis?" And he was like, "No, it's going to be Brian Power, Shirley Lewis." And then we had this amazing rapper called The Only One, who's absolutely brilliant, and you should go check him out because he's a really great writer and a really great rapper.
Yeah.
So he came in and did a brilliant job, I thought, which is my favorite part of the song is when he raps. But it really, the song really needed it
Yeah, I
because
think it
it's
completes the
not,
whole song. Yeah.
yeah, it's not much to it really. But he came in and put his little magic on it, and then Brian said, "Look, let's just put it out with Brian Power, Shirley Lewis featuring The Only One." I was like, "Okay, let's do it." But it just got picked up on so many playlists on Spotify. Um, things work so differently now with records. I mean, there are so many charts, and I think it's partly to do with sales. I don't know where people buy stuff from. I guess Apple Music,
Yeah.
you'll buy music, but most people are subscribing to something and they get music. It's not for free, but I mean, you're paying $9.99 or whatever it is, and you get everything. It's not really a good way, I don't think, because you kind of don't have to invest in buying anything. You can listen to 30 seconds of something. If you don't like it, that's
Yeah.
it. You don't have to actually purchase anything. But however, it's ended up on a bunch of playlist, and I think it's just going to keep growing like that because I think it's a fun summer song. You know, if you're in
Definitely. Yeah.
Ibiza club, you know, it's gonna. I think it's just going to keep building. Listen, it's 35,000 streams is amazing. However, you have to have about 1 million streams, so that's how far away I am
Oh,
from it being a huge success.
but wait,
But
but wait, but are you surprised how it's gone?
yes, I was. I was really surprised. I mean, I've never had a Spotify account. Um, so I was like, I didn't really know what it was about. And then Brian said, "Oh, you know, you should definitely get a Spotify account now because you've got Toxic, you've got Year of Decision." And I was like, "Yeah, you know, why not?" So
Yeah.
when I did it, I had 12 listeners, which I thought was really funny.
I think I was your
Which is what,
first.
yeah, and it's probably my family. So, and I was like, okay, 12 listeners, this is not great. But, you know, now I think it's like there's 25, 26,000 listeners.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can build something. And now I'm getting my album that I did 30 odd years ago, which was never released in the UK. It was only released in the US. It's going to be available on digital, and it's never been available. So I'll add that to it, and at least now I kind of have a platform
Yeah.
for music. So whether I mean, I'm not someone that's going to be releasing stuff, you know, every few months because, like again, I'm not that prolific of a writer, and it's not like my main thing. So
Yeah.
it's just if something comes to me, and you know Brian's around and wants to record it because it goes out on his label. Well, it's not his label; it's called So Let's Talk. So they put it out. So it's not going to be something that's going to be a regular, but at least I have a platform so people can go and listen to my music if they
Yeah.
want to. But I've really I've been listening to Passion, which is, I'm probably going a bit fast forward for you here, but
Just keep
with
going.
your questions. But I'm a talker as well. That's the other thing.
Me too. So I'm finding it hard to keep quiet.
So it's yeah. So anyway, it's really nice that I'll have a platform for people to hear my stuff. But I've then started to listen to Passion again, and I haven't played it for I don't know 20 years or something. But listening back to the tracks now, they actually are resonating with me more now than I was. I think I was 26 or 7 or something when I recorded it. I was just singing the songs. I didn't really know what I was singing about. But now I'm older. It kind of like, oh, okay, I get all these songs now. So I'm really enjoying them. I mean, I'm not sure if it sounds dated or not.
I was going to
Um,
say, I think if Toxic was on Passion or Passion was with Toxic, I think they go together. I think
oh,
at the
great.
moment
Yeah.
the sound of Passion and Toxic are very together.
Oh, well, that's it. Well, listen, that's either a good thing or it's really, really sad that I haven't moved on for 30 odd years and I'm
If it
still doing
works, it works.
the same old music. But you know, I guess that's just my sound.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of does work. I hear what you're saying. It doesn't seem completely out of place. And I really do like the album, and I'm glad it's going to be available because obviously not a lot of people have heard it. There's only one track on the album that I wish I could have deleted
No, you
and
can't. You can't. I know what you're going
saved.
to say. I know what you're going to say.
Again, though, I think it's because I co-wrote it, and yeah, I don't know. It's just too kind of clubby. Although Shep Pettibone, who I wrote it with, who's an amazing producer, and he's worked with Madonna and you know like
I've,
tons of people.
you just took the words from my mouth. He,
Yeah.
in the 80s and 90s, he was like the most prolific of what he's doing, record producer, remixer, and DJ.
Mm.
And when you recorded your album, he was then recording with Madonna, Prince, Elton John, Janet Jackson, and
Yeah.
George Michael. That
Yeah.
was
Yes, that's
incredible
right.
people he was working with. So your age, how on earth did you feel suddenly in a studio working like that?
Do you know what? I'm a little bit kind of oblivious to like who's famous, who isn't in you know producer world.
Yeah,
Well, not even in producer world, just anywhere. I'm just in my own. I'm in my own little bubble. So I wasn't kind of intimidated. I just thought he was a really lovely guy, and he was great at what he did. So I was
yeah,
just in it for that. Obviously impressed that he was working with you know such great artists, and my record company had you know decided, oh let's put him with her. Like they did throw a lot of money at it actually, but I just think whoever was I think I had the A&R guy that signed me in the UK kind of then offloaded me to the guys in the States, and I'm not really sure they really knew kind of what to do with me. And then in the end, it just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
And I
So how did the
think
album actually?
one track, I think it was I think it was Romantic that was in the Billboard chart, although Realistic is on this album. So Romantic isn't on the album
No,
either.
it's not. Um,
Mm.
so how did the actual album come about? Did they approach you to record the album?
Well, I had a manager at the time. Again, it kind of all stems with being with my sisters. We had a band called the Lewis Sisters, which we still are,
Yeah.
back in the day, and we were signed to Riva Records, which was Rod Stewart's label.
Yeah.
So that management company kind of took us on as a group. But then as that kind of, Dee kind of wanted to do her own thing, then she left, and it just left me and Linda. And then Linda kind of was just wanted to do her own thing as well. And then the manager just kind of, we got on really well. And he said, you know what, I'd like to play your stuff to A&M. I think it'd be a really good label for you. So he did, and I went in to meet them. And they got me to do Romantic. That was the first thing I did with producers. They were called Jolly, Harrison Jolly. They were really cool. And again, that was just, I was going to do a demo for them.
Yeah.
And then it just ended up, they said, you sound really good on this. Maybe we just give this to A&M for the first single. And they really liked it. So I don't know why it didn't end up on the album. That was actually a bit strange. Anyway, then they just sent me to America. They just said, look, you should go there, record. And we just feel like that the producers are the right producers for you, and they're there. So,
Yeah.
so off I went to the States, which is why I didn't go on the George Michael Faith tour.
Yeah. But it's really strange. Was your record company based in America then?
A&M. Well, I was signed to A&M here, but
Yeah.
yes, they're a label that were
Yeah.
in both sides of the Atlantic. So, but I'm not sure A&M are even around anymore now. This
I don't
album now,
think so. Yeah.
the pre-release is actually going to be on EMI.
Yeah. Because it's really strange because a lot of UK artists or European artists start off here and then try to break America, where you've gone
Mm.
straight over
Yeah,
to
it was the
America.
other way. Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
other way around. And yeah, I think they just thought it was really going to take off. But Romantic did really well. It was, in the States, there's, you've got the Billboard chart, but you've also got, each sort of state has charts as well. So
Yeah.
you end up being, like you're number one in one state, or you might be number 90 in another. And it's kind of like the whole bunch of your charts kind of make up the one Billboard chart.
Yeah.
If I mean, yeah, and then you have to go and do promote. Oops, sorry about that. You have to go and do radio promotion to get ads on the radio. The more ads you get, it kind of helps to push
All
you up.
right.
So I went there and I did a whole tour of the whole country, just going through radio stations and chatting to people, and it
Yeah.
was. I hated it.
Really?
Absolutely hated it. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you do any like live performances when you were going around to these different areas
Yeah.
or different
Yeah.
states,
Yeah.
I
I did.
guess you went to, yeah?
Yeah, I did. I mean, live. I was with the backing track,
Yeah.
but I was doing live vocals. Yeah, but it was. I mean, it's actually quite lonely, to be honest with you. And you're just going, it's just you. It's kind of like, oh, it's boring, really. And I can kind of see how like big stars get into, they're taking drugs or this. So I mean, it's like you're with tons of people, and then all of a sudden you're just sitting in a hotel room on your own. So, it's no fun.
Yeah.
I don't think, and I think that's why I don't enjoy the solo thing. It's like being on stage on your own. That's no fun.
Yeah.
I love doing. That's why I love doing background vocals, because you're in a section and the sound that you make, like the gel of the voices, and listening to what someone else is doing and fitting in with them. That to me, it's just it. I don't know. That's where my passion is, I guess. I've just this solo thing is just. I mean, I don't know. I'll end up doing PAs like when I'm like 65, I guess.
But you are really passionate about your music. But oh, obviously, from was it 1975 when you first released a single? Has there ever
Mm.
been a time when it's ever dipped or something has put you off the industry?
I'm not sure it put me off. I mean, I went, I guess, off track a bit when I got married and I moved to the US with my husband because he was doing film. And then I ended up being a manager. That can you hear my dogs barking?
Just
Sorry about that.
they want to join in.
Yeah, I know. They always do this. So yeah, and I moved there, and then I ended up being his manager agent. I love film anyway, and I'm really into film. I'm quite adaptable, so I kind of like would fit in. But I just really completely forgot about music and didn't do it for a while. And now, in hindsight, it wasn't really good for me to do that. And
Yeah,
that's I think then I was just coasting along, being someone's wife, agent, whatever, and I kind of forgot about what I really wanted to do for me. But in the process of that, I ended up producing a movie. And I mean, when I say produce it, I mean like hands-on produce it, like from getting the
yeah,
finance to, the edits and, everything. So I learned a lot about that, which I think will help me now because I'm in the process of doing a documentary about my sister Linda Lewis. So that's that. Maybe that's the reason I did it then, so that I can
yeah.
do this
So,
now. So
so did you enjoy that?
yeah, I did. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the producing. I think I just got then caught up in just taking care of Luke and kind of all his needs, and I really just did forget about myself. And
Yeah.
now I think like, God, what was I? Well, what was I doing? Yeah, but it is what it is. It's just a life journey. It's
Part of the
nothing to
journey, isn't it?
regret. It's just time. But I feel I was actually listening to Jane Fonda earlier today, and she said when she was about 30, she was really old. She thought in her mind,
Yeah.
headspace. Now, and I think at the time she did the interview, she was like 78 or something, and she said now she feels so energetic and so alive, and her age it means nothing. And I'm the same. Like I'm going to be 64 in May, and I mean, I really don't feel it. I mean, like in terms of even the way I feel, my health wise, my body isn't like breaking down at the moment.
Yeah.
So I still feel really good. So all of that energy is just kind of bubbled up again, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've got lots and lots and lots of energy for lots and lots of projects.
That's good because you've got a busy year this year.
I have. I have.
So when we talk about the film producing, some people won't realise that you also produced the Toxic video as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So how
Well,
did you?
that was kind of easy compared to the film
Yeah.
production.
So, but how that process and the thought process to make the video come about?
Well, I I didn't want really to be in the video because I just thought it's kind of unnecessary, and it's club music, and sometimes when they play songs in clubs, they play the videos, and I thought they don't want to see some old person in the video, so why don't I just kind of get different shots and try? I really like the idea of the guy's feet.
Yeah.
Do you remember the film Big?
Yes.
And they were in the shop and they were
On the
doing it
piano.
on the piano. So I was kind of in that because then there was these kind of um, slats, and we had the guy dancing
Yes,
on the
I can
slats.
see that. Yeah.
It reminded me of that. He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just thought it was a kind of cool concept. So then just had different, different shots, different video that I'd had over the years. Like I had Carly in it, which was from it's like 2 Christmases ago. We were at a Christmas party and she was just dancing. And I thought actually it really worked. So
Yeah. I thought it was
yeah.
lovely because obviously she was on Man the Moon in 1989 and it just sort of brought it all back together. I just thought that
I
was
know.
lovely seeing her back
Yeah,
on the video.
yeah, it's cute. Yeah, how many every years later? 38 years later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, so my next question was obviously you saying Passion never got released over in the UK,
Mm.
just in America.
Just in
So
America.
yeah, which is surprising. You think when you're saying they spent the amount of money in there.
Mm.
So I'm really looking forward to everyone finally getting to hear it Because
Yeah.
obviously, about a year and a half ago, I managed to get a copy on CD from America, and then obviously over the last year and a half, I managed to get both different covers on the vinyl.
Mm.
So I love it.
I didn't know there were two different covers.
If you wait 1 second,
I didn't know there were two different covers.
yeah.
There's one with me like looking
So
like
you've got
a
the
red one. That
this
one.
one, yeah, and
Hmm.
then you've
What's the
got
other one?
this one,
Is that a cover?
yep.
Oh, I thought that was the back and the other one was the
Now
front.
you there's your back,
Oh,
and then
okay.
you've got on. I managed to get one with the with all the lyrics on,
Oh, that's cool.
and that's
Oh,
a picture inside.
they did a good job with the look, and they had the SL was like a dollar sign.
Yes, I was cool. I tried a similar for our
I
logo.
know, yes, when you did SL, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You
tried to
did a good
bring
job
it
with
back.
that. Yeah. I was trying to
Um,
think, oh, how do I make that work now? But I just kind of, I didn't go for it. And Michelle, my sister-in-law, shot the cover. So the digital one will have a different cover again.
yes,
It's not that, yeah.
and I
So
must
just
give a shout out to Michelle as well for all her photography for Toxic.
yes.
Cheers, and for
Oh, yeah,
Passion coming out, and
yeah,
down here
yeah.
the
What's
mug as
that?
well.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's really cool.
So, and
Yeah,
obviously
she's got
Michelle's
some.
support as well since we started this. Obviously, she came in and done my first interview on here, and you popped in
Oh, yes,
and
yes,
caught us
that's right. I
chatting.
remember that. Yeah, we were down the cinema room. I was like, "What is going on down there?"
Right, so we've covered Passion, we've covered Toxic. So then in May, you're back on the road with Alfie Boe.
Yes, yeah, that was. Do you know what? That tour was so good for me because my sister had just passed away, and I was really just so sad, and like it came at like a perfect time. Um, my sister Dee and I actually went in and recorded with Alfie Boe before, um, and we were really like we didn't want to sing, like we didn't want to do anything, and
Yeah.
Alfie had asked us to come and do sing on the album like before that, but I was like, no, I can't sing, I can't do anything. But then when we went in together, the first song we sang was like is it? I don't know if it's called Light Up, but it goes light
Yes,
up.
I know the one that I
It's not
forget.
called that.
No, it's not called Light Up, and I'll think of it in a minute. Run.
Run, yes, that's it. Um, and so that's the first song we recorded, and just lyrically, it was, like light up as if we had a
Yeah.
choice, even though you cannot hear my voice. And we sang it together, and we were like in tears. So, Alfie had some really like emotional vocals on his album, and that was the first track we recorded, and then we ended up doing. Um, I ended up doing, I think, 4 or 5 of the tracks on the album, and then Dee did the rest.
Yeah.
And then Alfie came in and blah blah blah, and that's when he said, "Oh, I'm going out on tour. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Oh, actually, do you know what? Yeah, I do want to come." And he's such a lovely, lovely, kind man who's super talented. He's a really good songwriter.
Yes. I was
Um,
going to say to you, obviously, everyone will hear us talk about Alpha Bear and have a preconceived conception of him. And when you said that you were going to tour with him, and I thought, obviously, I come to see it, and obviously, the album came out, which has got some of the different tracks on, not the classical tracks, like you say, the
yeah,
cover of Run, and different ones. And his voice is incredible.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, he's got an amazing voice. I mean, he's got a big theatre voice. So, but sometimes it doesn't always lend itself to doing, other things. I mean, the album is like a lot of, I guess, like rock
Yeah.
anthems. Um, but he does a couple of songs. Well, you've seen the show, so he does a couple of songs in the show that he's written. One is White Lily Fields, which
I love that one. I absolutely
isn't
love
it
that one.
amazing?
Yeah, I hope he really gets to release it either on an album or
Yeah.
a single.
Well, I'd love to hear an album of Alfie's own music because it's not, as I say, it's very different. Obviously, it's very different to all the theatre stuff that you've heard, but he's just a great songwriter, and his voice sounds, I think, the best when he's singing his own songs. And
Yeah,
that's the part of the show that I enjoy the most is when we do his songs. I just they're lyrically they're brilliant, and the melodies, and obviously he's allowed us to do some, throw in some of our harmonies and stuff that weren't there
yeah.
before. So that's really nice because then you can kind of get a little creative. But he's so generous, on stage. He's just
Yeah.
like, wanting to include you in everything, and like, yeah, really, really fun. He's just
Like I say,
a
that was
really
the one
fun.
thing I noticed is I enjoyed it even more because you looked like you were all having fun on the stage,
Oh,
which I think is brilliant. Obviously, the music was really good. Obviously, you
mm.
were singing "Knew You Were Waiting," which I didn't was nice hearing you sing that.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I don't really want to do it, but I think Alfie had done it in his set before. I think he used to do it when he was out with Michael Ball, so it's kind
Yes,
of part of his thing, yeah. But don't really want to sing a song that Aretha Franklin sung. But anyway, it kind of worked.
it worked very well, and I must
Yeah.
obviously you're touring as well with Joe Reynolds. Must
Joe Garland.
just sorry, Joe Reynolds, Joe Garland. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, Joe Garland. Oh, she's just lovely. We get on so well, and uh, it's kind of like it's strange being with her because it's kind of like you're on your own. Like we don't sometimes if we're not talking at all, but sometimes you can be with someone if you're not talking, it's uncomfortable.
yeah.
But we're not. We're just totally it's kind of like the same person. But she's great to work with, and I really just enjoy her company. And we've been sort of discussing Cowboys and Angels while we've been out on the road. So everything beautiful has come from doing the Alfie Boe gig, really. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I'm very, very grateful.
did you have any apprehension doing the tour? Because I think it was about 11 years since you'd done a tour.
Yeah, I was like, oh, good Lord, can I even like remember, lyrics? And although I did have autocue, so no, I'm not very good at remembering lyrics.
You shouldn't have said that.
I know, but I'm not. I'm really not. But I was concerned, like, oh no, can I remember a whole gig? Because I haven't done it since I was out with George on Symphonica.
Yeah,
So it's a long time
it
to
is.
not do it. But it's like riding a bike. I just got right back into it.
And I must say, for anyone watching, it's virtually sold out the tour, and I think there's five more dates been added, which tickets are
Yes.
available. And I'd recommend anyone for a night out get a ticket and go.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, and like you said, anyone that's got a preconceived idea of what Alfie is, yeah, just go on YouTube or whatever and have a look. It's definitely a fun night. I mean, he does do the stuff that people know him for at the front end of the show, but it's
Yeah,
kind of it's sort of part of a story.
yeah,
So
that it
it
worked
really
really
works.
well. It sort of we went through his career up to the
Yeah,
latest album. I really, really enjoyed it. Obviously, I saw it a few times, and I enjoyed it every time, like the first.
yeah, yeah. Me too. It's. I mean, it went real quick as well. That tour. I was like, oh
Yeah,
my god, it's over. I think it was like 6 weeks or something.
yeah,
That
about
we're,
that.
So this time I think it's a little shorter than that. I think we're like 5, but yeah.
Also, if
But
you
the
keep
added
adding
date,
date, if you keep adding
yeah,
dates, it'll be
maybe.
longer.
Well, I think he's going to do Les Mis again, so I don't think it can go on
Much
super
longer. Yeah.
long. Yeah, yeah.
I look forward
Mhm.
to seeing you on there again.
Yeah, yeah, so for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. It was
Um.
fun. You came to see us and we had a
Oh,
little drink bar.
yeah, it was really good.
Mm.
Right. So throughout your time in industry, if someone is now starting out or they're in the process of doing it, what advice would you give someone for the music industry or recording?
Well, I think it's really, really hard now. If I was starting out now, I think there's so much, competition. And the thing is, with Instagram and TikTok, and there's so many amazing singers out there. And now I don't think you necessarily kind of like have to be signed to a label to have your music out. You can put your music out and make it available on digital
Yeah.
yourself. So, which is, I guess, that's a good thing. Um, but in a way, I think it's like too much going on. Do you know what I mean? And people
Yeah,
are releasing music like so. Like back in the day, you'd have a single come out, and then you'd have to wait months before you'd wait for a Michael Jackson single or a George Michael single. But now it's like people are releasing everything so quickly. But I think in the end, it's about awareness of the album, and then I think the musicians are going out on the road, and I think that that's where people are making money now, is to do
yeah,
live performances. So you have to have something live, I think. I
yeah,
don't think you can just be a recording artist now. I think you've got to like get out there as well and get a fan base, um, and play, even if it's, smaller venue, start small. Depends what you want to do. I mean, if you want to be a lead vocalist, that's what you have to
yeah.
do. Be a background vocalist, I would not have a clue how anyone would start that. I
No,
really wouldn't. I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have known how to start. It was only that my sister used to take me around everywhere with her, and then people would just say, "Oh, get Linda's sister in to do something." So I wouldn't have a clue how you start doing background vocals,
yeah. So
unless it's someone you know, or someone, and then they could recommend you. I guess that's probably the only way to do it.
yeah. So when you got started, I take it, obviously Linda was singing and Dee was a bit younger. Did you ever
Mm.
like have singing lessons, or you sing together, or
Mm.
was it just natural?
Yeah, I mean, naturally at first. I mean, I did have singing lessons when I was younger. Again, it was someone that Linda used to go to, and she got me in. A really lovely lady, actually. I remember her name was Jean Marshall. And she was lovely, and she did help me definitely.
Yeah.
I had a very quiet voice when I was young, and I don't anymore.
No.
I'm the loudest. I'm the loudest one in the room now. It's like I remember we were rehearsing one time. I think we were actually doing Going to a Town, and George was like, "I really want it nice and quiet here and breathy," and we're singing, and he goes, "Shirley." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're too loud." And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, I'll bring it down." But let's do it again. "Shirley, you're still too loud." And I'm like, "I'm hardly singing here. Like, what's the deal?" But yeah, he wasn't in a good mood that day, so maybe just take it out on me.
Um, what, so recording in the studio or going on tour,
Mm.
do you love everything, or is there one you think, oh, I'd love going in the studio more than going on tour, or the other way around?
Good question. No, they're both. They've both got. I like doing both. I
Yeah,
enjoy the studio because um, that's a very creative process, and going in, especially when I think like me and Dee, we used to do a lot of music when we were younger. We were doing all the PWL stuff, and we were kind of like, it was really like a day job. We were just doing sessions like every single day, and we were on so many tracks, as you know, because you've been
yes,
posted. We were on so much, and then people really just wanted that Lewis sisters sound,
yeah,
which was that kind of breathy sound, and the same kind of sound that George likes too. So there was definitely, yeah. So I had like a good apprenticeship to work with George. But yeah, I really love the creativity and adding that little bit of sparkle to a track that's already great. But then you
yeah,
you add something to it, and it kind of it takes it to another level. So that's really fun. But then live stuff is brilliant too, because when you're doing BVs, you get the best of both worlds, because you have the crowd and you have the vibe, but you don't have any of the pressure of being that person out front to entertain the crowd and all of
yeah.
that. So, and then afterwards, you go out with the band, and you have drinks and stuff, and it's just, yeah, it's fun. You kind of get a little bit of the blues when you come off of tour, because you're so used to being around all these people, and you kind of like get like a little family. You just
Yeah.
really miss each other when you're not together.
Because that must seem pretty quiet when you're doing these sellout arenas with thousands and thousands of people,
Mm.
and then in a couple of hours afterwards, you're alone in a hotel room.
Yeah,
That must
well,
be
like
a bit.
mostly for the star, like, well, for George, he'd have to be careful of his voice, and there's in his rest, he's doing interviews. There's so much more to it. It's not just him, getting up on stage enjoying the gig, and then he can go and have a drink with his mates and chill out. He
Yeah,
can't, because they're doing interviews in different time zones, and so it's just a lot. And George is very hands on with everything, so he's continuously listening to the tape of the night, making sure everything is the way he wants it to be. So it's a massive responsibility. But
Yeah,
when you're doing background vocals, you get even more so, I think, than the band. I think being a vocalist, you get that energy from the crowd, and you get to be part, and you get to perform to people. But yeah, you don't have any of the pressure, so it's just so much fun. It's hard work, don't get me wrong. It's that you do have to take care of your voice as well. You can't keep
yeah.
drink, 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 because you would have no voice. And there's a lot of traveling and all of that, so it is tiring, but it's absolutely like it's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's that kind of thing.
I think last year when you were touring with Alfie, I saw a tour with a different perspective because I'm used to going to one concert or two. You've got the
Mm-hmm.
whole day to get ready, you go to the venue, and that's it. But then obviously following you in for one night overnight on the
Yeah.
bus to the next venue, and then I
Mm.
suddenly thought, wow, that's not. There is a lot more to just coming onto the stage.
Yeah.
You got all
Yeah,
your
and
rehearsals.
it's not always glamorous. I mean,
Yeah,
there are some nice, private jet moments, but there are also some overnights on the bus, and you get to the next venue, and you got to shower at the venue, and so there's some of that as well. It's a bit of both.
yeah,
You do get the, like I said, you do get the private jet moments, which is absolutely wonderful. You do get the first class travel, but you also sometimes have to do a bus tour, which we did with
yeah.
Alfie. We've actually done a bus tour with George when we were
Really?
in the States.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did a bus tour in the States. So, you know, that's not, life on the bus again, it's you kind of get into your little routine, like where's your space to sit, like the lounge,
yeah,
normally ends up like for the girls, and the guys will sit at the front, and it's just yeah, it is fun. But I'm telling you one thing though, when you're on the road as a
yeah.
girl, you better go to the gym, because you will have to carry your own bags. The boys do not carry a bag.
No, no porters or anything carrying the bags.
No, no, no. You have, because you're getting off the bus at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's 10 or 12 of you getting off the bus. Chances are, the porter can't take care of everyone. So, yeah, it's every man for himself at that point.
So as we come to close, I just really want to look back at what's been an incredible year since I started the fan page.
Yeah,
But obviously, we went through. I found many of your singles and had to get them across singles or records you've appeared on from different parts of the country. So I think the last count was about 156 different artists you've recorded with.
that is crazy.
Yeah, is
Wow.
and this doesn't include like when you're on did the Brits with the Rhythmics and Stevie Wonder.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't. These are just people you recorded with. Then you've got the Michael Bolton and the rest of the people that you've done shows with. So that
yeah,
when you look at it
yeah.
like
That's
that,
that's the other that's the other thing that we used to. Apart from recording, we were actually like at Top of the Pops most weeks, like working with all kinds of, like Luther Vandross and Michael Bolton, and the Eurythmics. It's just kind of crazy when you think about it. Like when you post stuff, sometimes I'm like, I don't even remember doing that track.
I know. I
Well,
love it when you don't remember.
well, yeah, my memory is not great. Matt from the Spinning the Wheel podcast, he thinks it's hilarious because I literally can't remember anything.
I,
So
yeah, I must give a shout out to Matt as well, always supporting the page as well and posting stuff. And I love it when you were trying to manifest and you'd already done the song already.
I know. The thing is with me, I actually get bored really quickly. I'm surprised that we're still doing the spinning podcast, because I kind of like, oh, okay, I've done that now. But I guess we've still got like tons and tons of tracks to listen
Yes.
to. So I think it's
And if
like
you
a
do,
hundred.
I think I think Matt said about 100 left. I still think one of my favorite videos was finding the Edwin Starr. And that was
That
right
was
early on. I
brilliant.
honestly couldn't believe when I I was looking to see what artists you work with, just tried to find if they were anywhere, and I found the
Mm.
video, and then I had to watch it 3 times, thinking, "Well, that's Shirley dancing." There was the
Oh my
sheep with her
God.
denim.
I know the denim. It was the sheet that
I
like
don't get the
killed
idea
me.
what
I
that
was
was.
like, what are we doing? Like dancing around with a sheet. It's just so like cringe. It was just cringe. Although I did like my hair in that video. I was like, oh, I kind of like that hairstyle. It was a
Yeah,
bit it was a bit kind of like 60s kind of
yeah.
vibe. I quite liked it. But yeah, I could have done without the whole sheet thing. That was really embarrassing.
Yeah. Um, to go back when you said you were working with PWL, that was like they were just doing song after song with artist after artist, and
Mm.
I've just been listening to the Phil Harden podcast, which he's going
Oh
over
yeah.
those years,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
obviously he mentions working with the Lewis sisters, and I the Stockade and Waterman as well. I think it's the Instagram page. They always say it makes more a team to make a song, and they always credit you and Dee in the songs, which I think
Oh.
is really good.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we spent a lot of time. Yeah, we spent a lot of time in the studio. And you know, before they were PWL, you know, we knew those
Yeah.
guys before. So it was really nice that you know, as they grew and got bigger, they were still using us, you know, where they could use anyone, but they were still doing that. So it's really sweet.
Was it because obviously that time, I guess they did a lot of similar songs. I suppose when you did your backing tracks, backing vocals, did you know which artist you were doing it with? Did you record
No,
it with them in the studio?
sometimes.
Yeah,
No, sometimes no. We just go in and put our vocals down. And sometimes they should just put vocals down into like a keyboard pad, so then they could just use it, you know, when they wanted. But you know, it was a really it was like the hit, you know, that was called the Hit Factory. But it
yeah.
was it was great because people were in and out there all the time. You know, like Simon Cowell was in all the time, and we like everybody knew everyone, and you'd kind of, you know, you'd end up going to the pub for a drink after. It was a nice time. It definitely was a nice time.
Oh,
You know, I don't do that many sessions now. But you know, when I'm asked to do it, and I still enjoy it, so I'm still up for it.
right. I think that's a good place to stop.
Okay, you
Thank you.
finished with me there.
Well, I have a million more questions I could ask.
No, okay, I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kind of, yes, time. It's wine o'clock now, isn't it? Surely.
I think so. I need to get a Shirley Lewis wine glass.
That's true. I'll definitely have one of them. That's be one of those real big glasses, though.
Good idea. I'll see what I can
Yes.
get.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Oh,
anyone watching, make sure you're following Shirley on Instagram at Shirley Happiness, on Spotify, Shirley Lewis, and make sure if you like what you're watching, subscribe here or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And I just want to
yes.
really thank yourself, obviously, for your support over this last year as well, and your
Mm.
interaction, and everybody else who's joined in from people sending me footage when they see you on Top of the Pops or a show on TV or
Yes,
in
a
their
lot of
record,
spies out there.
yeah, or their record collection, and they suddenly say, "Oh, Paul, did you know Shirley's on the back of this one, doing back and
Oh,
vocals?" And everyone who's liked and shared everything over the last year, it's been incredible.
yeah. Well, thank you, Paul, for even thinking, coming up with the idea and doing it because I really enjoy watching all the stuff that you do. Like I said, I love the interaction you have with everyone that is subscribing to your channel and the people that are following you. But I truly appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem. So there, we'll say thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. See
See
you
you
later.
next time.
Bye bye.